streets of Bucharest still bear the scars of last December's revolution, which ended the 24-year reign of Nicolae Ceausescu. Now the workers have moved in and the scaffolding is going up around the government buildings damaged in the fighting. Soon only this palace, which cost $1 billion and is still unfinished, will remain as a reminder of Ceausescu's reign. Key ministries are still guarded by soldiers and police, and the workers and students are back in University Square. 12 months ago, they were calling for the downfall of the Ceausescus. Now they chant a different name. Many feel that not enough has changed under the new regime.
Nothing has been changed in Romania. Nothing. It's the same system, the same communism like before. Only the president has changed. We have no more Ceausescu, we have Iliescu, a new communist.
A former political prisoner tells the crowd how he was tortured in jail. He is one of the lucky ones. These men are in a Romanian mental asylum only recently discovered by Western aid workers. And despite government claims that all political prisoners have been released, it appears that many hundreds, if not thousands, are still being held against their will in institutions around the country.
They think that I'm dangerous for the society because of my politics, religion.
What have they done to you?
Treatment which tortured me in a chemical way.
Romeo Galiev is one of 180 patients officially registered as insane at the Valiestiva home for the incurables. He was arrested 4 years ago. His crime? Preaching Christianity on the streets of Bucharest.
Many times they said to me that I have to pray and to talk just in the church and at home. They had no reason to bring me and leave me 4 years in this place.
In Romania, no one leaves a home for the incurables. These people are serving life sentences. Yet it's impossible to tell how many of these men and women were perfectly sane before their arrival. Even those who were can hardly avoid being affected by the experience of such conditions, their will to resist broken by the enforced use of drugs.
I tried to resist to the treatment. I couldn't. You lose your faith. You don't trust God because He doesn't help you.
At another home on a remote hillside 60 miles north of Bucharest, Marlena Ursu and her blind mother pay the price for questioning the communist system. In July last year, within a period of just 24 hours, mother, daughter, and Marlena's brother Valentine were declared insane. The decision was taken after Marlena had written a letter of complaint to the Communist Party about conditions in her factory.
My brother Valentine was taken first to a psychiatric hospital in Bras, near Ploiești. And then they took both of us in an ambulance. 2 policemen and 2 young assistants. They took us by force. They kicked in the door and brought us here for treatment.
Valentine is held at the men's institution half a mile along this road. We were told it was impossible to film him as he's presently in isolation in a secure cell somewhere in the building. He was repeatedly raped by one of the inmates and now rejects all human contact. In another cell, designed to hold 4, 15 inmates live in squalor, shut away 24 hours a day. There are no washing facilities, and violence often breaks out over the shortage of food and even beds. Kate Pritchard was the first relief worker to get into the asylum. She was disturbed at what she found, but even more disturbed when, a few weeks ago, she was passed a note by one of the patients.
The note was actually saying that he was arrested in 1968 for political reasons and then sent on to this hospital.
That patient was Ion Dragiu, a soldier in the Romanian army until 1968, when he and 17 others were arrested by the secret police. An anti-communist, he was accused of causing unrest in the ranks.
They handed me over to the Securitate. They took me to Bucharest and put me in the custody of the secret police. We were checked and we were interrogated, but I wouldn't admit to anything. So they extracted my teeth. I don't have any teeth. They took my teeth out with metal pliers, and as they were pulling, they were asking me what had happened. Any information at all. How was it that so much trouble and unrest had been caused in the regiments at Iași, Timișoara and Ploiești?
Ion Dragiu was told that if he behaved himself, his release would only take a matter of time. That was 22 years ago. But the district director, in charge of both the men's and the women's camp, denies that any of his inmates are political prisoners.
All patients here have a social file, which contains an account of contact with society and the family environment. The file is compiled by the local council and their employers, and it gives details of everything that goes on within the families.
But for people like Marilena Ursu and her family, it appears that the director is prepared to take information provided at face value.
I don't know why the police brought them here. All I know is what's written on the files. To me, that's all that counts.
No one knows just how many political prisoners there are in institutions like these. But as more and more are discovered, there is growing anger amongst the relief agencies.
I think it's absolutely horrific. It's a disaster as far as I'm concerned, and I feel sickened at the thought of us bringing lorries here tomorrow, undoubtedly with aid that's much needed, but to suggest that we were bringing it here to prop up a regime that's keeping a family here who were brought here against their will and who are classed as being mad when obviously they're not. And when they're in a place like this, there is something terribly wrong, and we've got to do something about that pretty quickly.
There have been rumours and there have been stories, now we've seen proof. Just how widespread do you think this is? How many people are there in homes like this who shouldn't be there?
This is my second visit to Romania. On the first visit, there was widespread talk that there were political prisoners from this regime, let alone leftovers from the previous regime. We've had conclusive evidence seen here today and elsewhere. This is far from an isolated case.
Freedom is the word which is on everybody's lips in the streets of Bucharest. The people have been told that all the political prisoners have now been released. That is clearly not the case. Official records don't even show how many adult mental institutions there are in the country, let alone how many political prisoners they hold. It's a problem which President Iliescu will have to resolve if he is to retain his credibility with his own people and with the relief agencies from around the world which are pouring millions into his country.